And welcome. It is my great pleasure. Now the Dota 2 Frankfurt Major here. We're going to be happening over on the Dota Major 2 stream. B stream, if you will. It's myself, Coddle Guy, and to open up the show with me, it's going to be my good buddy on the other side of the table down there, Mr. Purge. How you feeling today?
I'm great, man. Hear lots of kitchen noises. You can hear banter going on in the room.
Definitely.
We're in an open-aired area, but we have this cool little. It's not a small cubicle. It's like a medium-sized cubicle.
Yeah.
I like it.
I love how we have a door, and they're like, make sure we close the door, and then you look up, the whole ceiling is wide open. This huge warehouse of a complex. I mean, it's not just us here. You got our neighbors. I believe we have the English stream right next door. The Russians, the Chinese, all around. Players are like a stone's throw away. So the ambiance is going to be something.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how it's going to progress, but you're going to hear a lot of noise in the background just to prep you guys. But two great teams here, VP and Newbee. Newbee actually has one of the better history in 6.85 at least. They have a pretty high win rate. They're sitting around 70% or so. A lot of victories with them. VP not really the same. Maybe one of the lower win rate teams, sitting around 50%. So we'll see how they perform here. To be honest, the patch is not that different than the previous one, so I would guess those percentages are going to continue, but I know that a lot of teams have been working on new strats, and Chinese teams generally play less games as well, so they are more likely to have more secret practice going on, whereas the European team less likely to have that be private.
Yeah, just to break it down a bit further, statistical-wise, Newbee with this patch 13-7, 55% win rate, and their recent accomplishments. Their Nunyoung run where they got 5th place, and then we know their TI5 finish at 13th, 16th. They made some adjustments since then, and they've been slowly on the rise. But then we look over to the other corner here. We got Virtus.Pro, and this team, since TI5, has yet to reach that real golden platform. They have been team 5th place, unfortunately. 17-17 record for them this patch at a 50%. But they have been getting 5th for the last 3 or 4 events, and they're hoping to break through. And before we really break down the draft, Worth mentioned last night that the tweet had been deleted since then, but Lil put out the message that he's like, we're not fussing around anymore. No more of these silly Virtus.Pro crazy strategies and drafts. We mean serious business. And I'm like, I appreciate that. I'm excited because core Vengeful Spirit, I don't know. So
yeah, I think that's the only thing that's holding them back. They go a little too crazy. They overdive sometimes. They feed a little bit when they're ahead. Like, it's good when it works, but when it doesn't work, it makes you look terrible, and you lose games that you have advantages in. And really the name of the game right now is winning lane advantage and making that to win a good mid game. And if you do get that lead advantage, you can't throw it away like VP does sometimes. Lead to a more boring playstyle where you sometimes just 5-man, but that's sometimes what it takes. So I think it's good to have some ability, but sometimes you also have to dial that back. So if they can do that perfectly, they can win every game.
It's an unfortunate time to try to still fine-tune where you want to be in this meta when you're coming to such a big stage like the Major here. They got to feel confident already with Game 1 here, Purge. Spirit Breaker, Ancient Apparition is going to be punch. They have a big win rate here on the Spirit Breaker. 12 matches, they're 9-3 with a 75% win rate. AA is just below that, a 5-4 respect record, 55%. So this is something they're very comfortable with. We know with an early commitment to the AA, that will limit the hero pool options here for Newbee. Obviously, Doom had already been taken out, but if they were thinking about going for something like an Alchemist or any sort of head sustain, they already committed to a Dazzle. Things get a bit sticky there. Both sides, no real intel put out there. We don't know what kind of pace they're going to be dictating, but it is... I can't. So Newbee is like, this is the reason why probably Lil deleted the tweet too, is because he's like, I don't want teams to think we're not going to go to that. So in the heads already of Newbee, they're worried about the Vengeful Spirit.
I'm pretty sure that they don't even pick Venge. Is that a flame?
I feel like they just looked at their Dota page or something, and were like, oh, they pick Venge a lot. Let's ban it. But if they didn't look at the win rate, what was the win rate again, Purge?
I mean, it's taking forever to load.
0-11.
Oh, the KDA. It was like 0-11-7 or something. It was not a good carry Venge game. Anyone like treads pipe because they were behind.
Oh yeah, it was rough.
I mean, that kind of a strat would kind of work if you get some early advantage and just end the game at 15 minutes. But past that, you're like, why do I have a carry that has a swap for an ultimate? You know, like that is not. That's not a good
fall back in the jungle and like jungle farm. She's not one to really farm
or something. I mean, she's got a great agility gain as a hero. You'd think that she'd be a good carry, but her attack range is low, and you know she doesn't really scale that much. Like it's not quite as good as it could be.
All right, this comes after, of course, banning now the Queen of Pain. Virtus.Pro in their second phase had removed Lady Lena, and they also rid of the Earthshaker here. NewBee with their already opener and committing to the early core of Gyrocopter. How do we foresee them looking to balance this out a bit? They still need to get a mid laner, you know, their secondary support, and probably putting a lot of priority into a good off lane. Some options are still out there. A Clockwork, let's say, could be a solid grab.
I'm expecting to see Slardar out of VP. I think it's like the Chinese teams really like Slardar very much, and I think that's because they maybe they 5-man a little bit more, and Slardar is slightly more of a gank hero in my opinion. Like he's really good at team fights as well. There it is, Clockwork. I think that fits the Chinese playstyles far better than a hero like Slardar does. So through all the teams that I looked at last night, I just didn't see a lot of Slardars, and I didn't see a lot of Slardar win rates coming from Chinese teams. Whereas EU teams, they're very happy to pick up the hero, oftentimes even in the first round. So no, I wouldn't be surprised if VP can save that until they're one of their last picks. Visage as well. Slar's pretty good with the Visage because the bats do physical damage. Breaker's magical. They've got a kind of a lot of magic right now, actually. Maybe NewBee might want to go for a pipe at some point, but yeah, it could go a lot of ways still. I'm a little surprised to see Quap banned out, but G's Quap is definitely one of the best in the game. So SF's gonna, what is G gonna play? Those are like
this
go-to heroes.
They're starting to shave off that top layer where we know G to be like thriving the best with. I mean, after that you go to like what, Manager, I think is something they could still fall back with. There was something else. Invoker was something they did pull out that one time for Nunyoung. They didn't find success with it in that particular match, but it is something that G could go for if they do see it fit. But I'm sure Lil's happy. Visage is a little special. He plays one of the best Visages in the game right now. And he continues the trend of comfort picks pro. So back to NewBee we go though, Purge. Secondary support, and I'm sure they're going to be holding off their Moo hero to the end unless they feel like his options are getting limited. For both of these guys, their mid laners are just going to be a bit off the beaten path here. And Night Stalker actually coming out here.
Definitely could be a support. Very likely. Okay, so they're going to go for the range strat. A little unexpected because they had the SB, but I like the fact that SB's actually. He doesn't get the range door, but when you're playing a hero like Drow Ranger, Ancient Apparition, Visage, you don't have very good lockdowns. You need something that can provide space for you in a team fight. You got to have somebody that runs at your opponent, buys you some time, and disables you. So SB is going to work for that. He's not going to buy more than a couple seconds, but you know if he charges through as they're trying to initiate on Drow Ranger, it can. I'm a little worried about the pit. There's the Clockwork.
Yes.
Drow's behind. Basically, Clock is going to wreck this game if he gets ahead. So it's really, really important that they zone him properly and delay 6 as long as possible.
Glad you brought that point up because I was going to say the very same thing there. A ban of the Viper, the last ban going to be coming up from the side of NewBee. And when I see a Viper banned out and maybe they worry about lane domination, there is still a Razor, let's say, out there. I don't know if it's something G regularly can go for, but it might be something optimal for him. And along this very push-heavy playstyle that they're clearly going to be going for. When you commit for the Drow Visage, you have an expiration date on your lineup, and once you get something like a Visage, and if he's going to be one to a mech, let's say, maybe that could fit with the time frame of what they're going to be going for?
Possible. I do like the Razor idea, because if you look at NewBee's lineup right now, their damage is actually pretty poor. It's coming out of Gyro, Physical, Flat Cannon, his magic damage. You've got a Night Stalker casting Voids, but other than that, like, NS is not going to do a massive amount of damage. Being a mid hero, being okay NS mid games, kind of the same reason Clockwork. They do go for the Wind Ranger mid though. I think this is a pretty good pick. Yeah, I mean, Drow Ranger can attack him. It also blocks G from potentially getting that hero. Like, how many mid heroes have banned? Like, literally all of G's main heroes are gone.
Yeah. It's
Lena, like, SF.
It's like Razor, Invoker are like the only two I can think about juggling around here, which is something I've seen him go for before, but even with those two picks, it's not something he's had a whole lot of, you know, tournament experience kind of going with here.
Yeah, I don't like the Invoker. I think what was the other one that you literally just said?
Razor.
Razor. Yeah, I think Razor's okay. Not really amazing versus Wind Ranger. I would say it's pretty much impossible to kill the Wind Ranger. The Wind Ranger could kill you. I guess you could bring a gank over or something like that, but looking like the best 1v1 mid matchup unless it's some hero that we're not expecting, but we'll see how G does. He was one of the heroes one of the players that I looked through that really had the most static picks. So, did they do that just because he's so amazing at those heroes? I mean, he's a super talented player, definitely one of the best mid players in Europe. But will he be able to change up and pick a hero that he wasn't expecting to play? they were just really hoping to get win. Still have a lot of time left. It's probably going to be a ranged hero. I think Razor, for that reason, is also a bit better as well. Normally, Razor has a lot of trouble catching up by farm, but if you throw an extra 40 damage on him for free, you know, he'll be able to stay a little bit more ahead of the curve than he normally.
Dragon Knight.
Or a DK.
I like that as well.
It helps with the push.
Frontline tank as well, so even if Spirit Breaker charges through, you still have another source of somebody that can be tanky, and when he uses ultimate, he does get the Drow Aura. So he's going to get punished a little bit mid. He may have to worry about some clockwork ganks and things like that. He's going to be kind of weak against Gyro until later, but I think it's an okay pick.
The way the farm spread's going to have to go, and you look at their lineup, it's clear that there's going to be a lot on this Drow. And statistically, with the recent history of Virtus.Pro, that can make some Virtus.Pro fans a bit nervous. Illidan's farm share on this team has been the lowest of any carry in a 22.4%. So he doesn't seem to get a lot of farm. It could be just because of the recent struggles a bit, but and on top of that, he typically spends the most time dead. 236.5 seconds, more than any other player. So you don't want to be doing that on a Drow.
Yeah, it could be another typical Drow game where Drow Ranger buys a lot of agility items and sacrifices for his. It's possible. May go for more of a battle push lineup also. I think that's something they could definitely explore and transition in the late game while ganking. I mean, their ganking heroes are pretty good. SB, playing AI Ice Blast, and one other hero, that's a kill. Pretty much anywhere on the map. So I feel like they can go for that stuff. The only downside is they don't really have a core that can rotate very well. Drow Ranger nor Dragon Knight are likely to be doing that unless they get Shadow Blade. So I feel like one of those cores needs to pick a gank item like that, and they need to go grab kills.
Oh, they spotted Tule here. He was trying to plant down the ward. He did put it down, but they saw him drop it, so they ping it out and let the troops know that get rid of that. And Tule's advantage is going to be taken away. They're going to cut him off at the pass here, and he's going to have to go all the way back.
G really didn't want to skill Dragon Tail there because he's like, I don't get Breathe Fire. It could really screw my laning stage, because if Wind Ranger can delay like a bounty rune or something, play his bottle, like he needs that point to get like 3 or 4 last hits in the early game, and that's how he views Dragon Knight. 1 Ironwood branch, fast bottle, and just get last hits with Breathe Fire.
And you're not going to be getting it if he's going to pop out a cog shortly after, so it's better to play safe and sorry and go back to the phase. So they'll go up there, they'll get that ward taken care of, but this is it, folks. Game number 1 of the Dota 2 Frankfurt Major here. It's on the secondary stream. It's Group A action. Newbee going against Virtus.Pro. Before the lanes get underway, I'll quickly flash through some introductions here. On your Radiant side, it's your TI4 champion squad. Newbee looking to get back into that golden glory. We got Tule here who's going to be playing your off-lane Clockwork. Along the mid lane, it's going to be Moo on your Wind Ranger. CH or Chizbug is going to be playing your Night Stalker, hanging around that mid lane a bit. Banana, I think, is what they say the oldest player, competitive player in the game right now. He's going to be playing your Dazzle, and then General How going to be playing your Gyrocopter. Purge, why don't you go ahead and introduce Dire Team?
DK Phobos is going to be playing Spirit Breaker on the mid lane. We've got G playing Dragon Knight. Ancient Apparition being played by FNG, Lil playing Visit, and the carry is Illidan Storm. Completely standard roles for these guys. Spirit Breaker's lane is maybe a little more rare lately. We've been seeing a lot more heroes like Tusk, Darkseer, more Spirit Breaker supports, but it's still a viable hero. Just needs to get some of his ganks off, and they're going to have to rely a little bit more on their mid and their carry to provide damage in the late game.
If there's someone to do it, though, it's DK Phobos. This guy played a lot of Spirit Breaker before Spirit Breaker was even cool, but this is where he could be in a bit of trouble here. He might need to charge out, and he is going to hightail it out of there. Looks like he'll be fine, but they do get him away from the lane. It will create more space, and he's going to have to do this big loop-de-doop around now and start chewing through all that regen. Now he'll pop it.
One disable here. It's the Night Stalker slow, so I mean, they also have the slow from Dazzle, but naturally that doesn't stun until he gets like 4 skill points into it, which we very likely won't see. For now, this is decent for Newbee. They're zoning the Spirit Breaker, they're delaying his levels. That means their Wind Ranger's safer. That means their Clockwork might be in some trouble here. Chilling Touch could do a ton of damage. He actually, with the Drow, that's really bad for him. He's gonna have to TD out, but the right clicks are coming. Got him. Enough.
Mill's going to be picking up the first blood. Clockwork a bit ambitious to go that side chop right there, but really looked like he was very limited on the options. Back at mid lane, Breathe Fire going to be coming, but it is G, who is up and ahead in this mid lane. Last time I checked in, he was at 5 CS to Moo's 2, so Moo is on the comeback at this point. Looks like he's been gifted a good creep lure beyond the tower to work with here, but Dragon Knight he's a strong guy, and he's going to in there and getting the best of it.
That's G, man. Like, the fact that he has that many last hits against a ranged hero is so amazing.
Yeah.
I also really want to talk about the ward blocking the small camp for the Radiant side. This is basically like a next level observer ward. Like, he basically says most people right now are blocking left and right.
Yeah.
So if I put it on the dumbest spot ever, literally like where all the noobs place it, right on the middle, there's this place where the sentries don't catch it. It's really good mind games coming out of DK Phobos. Really going to limit the supports a little bit. It basically means the Night Stalker has to roam. Experience in the entire game right now, and this is because of that great observer placement. It's really going to help out VP's early game.
They almost could have put directly in the middle of the camp, and it still would have been good as well.
Yeah. Sentries are slightly badly placed, but not enough. It's mostly a good mind game.
Play to them, and the ward wars will continue here. In the meantime, Chip have to be on stacking duty here, which you don't want to be, and that means his first nightfall is going to be a bit restricted. Yeah, it's not going to be the best. I mean, he'll get the bit of move speed, I suppose, but I don't see him being much of a fighter. Looks like we are going to have a little bit of lag here, and after all, it is a Dota 2 land, so what Dota 2 land, of course, without a purge. But hey, this gives us more time to kind of break out the general matchup since things kind of went away real fast.
Yeah, Darkcopter's doing fine here. 8 last hits, beating out Illidan on the top lane, but again, they do have that one kill that came from Clockwork, so check the net worth. Actually, Gyro's still decently ahead, about 150, but nothing amazing. As the game goes on, Gyro should be out farming the Drow Ranger, but if Drow Ranger has a good early game, lots of kills, few deaths, she can power ahead. But it really all comes down to how much Drow dies, because she is so vulnerable for like 20 minutes in a typical game, especially against the heroes that she's on.
And you got to remember, in typical Gyro fashion, at least, what we mostly see, these fighting Gyros, is once he's able to push ahead, get to that level 6, level 7 mark, he might make that quick rotation to their own off lane to maybe get a quick kill on that Drow if possible. And I don't know if there's going to be much there to stop this Gyro from getting in. I'm sure by that point, Lil's not going to have his birds ready to go, and already FNG has kind of been very mobile here. He's already hanging around this mid lane, and there are lag jitters. I am receiving them as well, and apparently the players are too. So hopefully we're not taking up too much here.
Yeah, maybe I should close all of my stream.
Tab, adult tab here.
Like two streams going. Fault, guys.
You know, I better do that. Just to be buffering, so that's not good. Pause that boy as well, and back underway.
Interesting item build on Dragon Knight right now. He's like, you know what? Wind Ranger's not going to kill me. She hits decently hard, but I've got like 8 armor and regen. I'm just going to buy a magic wand and a bottle, and I'm just constantly bottle carrying. That's what he's doing. That's why his CS is so high right now. Basically, is every time he can get a CS, boom, he breathe fires for it, tries to hit the Wind Ranger, but if it doesn't harass her, it's not that big of a deal. His goal here is to trade farm, grab himself treads, maybe a bracer and a wand, and go fight in the early game. And his opponent really don't have a huge amount of damage. It's their physical damage output is really weak. It's all going to come down to their magic. Battery assault on Clockwork, rocket barrage from Gyrocopter, a lot of power shots from Winter. I think this is looking pretty, honestly. It's still going to come down heavily Clockwork, but the damage potential out of Newbee's draft is really not very good. Each scaling into the lane.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is like, oh, well, typically going against maybe a Drow Visage lineup, you can withstand it and push past that and pull to the late game, but I don't see a lot of confidence where New would be able to really thrive in that later portion of the game. So I have to agree with you. I think Virtus.Pro kind of have a good idea as far as where they're going to be looking to take this game. And for Newbee, this team, since their TI time, it's been a bit of a struggle. Their record on LAN in 2015, 15-31, 33%. And, they're still trying to get into here, but they got Hal back, and after Hal had his brief visit on Vici Gaming, he was obviously more of a rambunctious fighting and typically takes a larger portion of his team's farm. I said a bit how Illidan takes the least amount of any player. Hal takes 30% of the farm from his team. That's more than any other player. So you got the least and the most.
He's enemy heroes. Maybe that's all it is. I mean, I think Gyro definitely fits his playstyle. Gyro is a hero that should be going for kills. He's not a super hard carry. Like, you don't pick Gyro because you're like, I want to farm faster than anybody else when nobody's touching me. Gyro because you have rocket barrage, you have a strong lane presence, you can solo zone off lane heroes, you're strong at all portions of the game. Like, your late game is not amazing because you have to buy like BK, Butterfly, MKB before you start doing really good damage. but you're strong throughout the entire game. If anything, Gyro is like a early to like mid hero. He's not like a super good late game because he usually just gets out farmed by heroes that have wave damage and battle furies and lifesteal and all this stuff. It's like I like that How can play this hero better. They actually have a very good win rate on it. Most teams have pretty low Gyro win rates. Newbee's good on it.
Yeah, actually, if you look at the most popular heroes in this patch right now, Gyro is at 8th. It's respectable, 260 games, but then you look at the record, it's 120 to 140, 46% win rate.
It's not amazing.
He's up there with about Darkseer is about the same as far as... No surprise to see the king, if you were all curious, the king of most popular heroes, Tuh.
Yeah, that hero's in ice shards. I hate getting ganked by Tuh. It makes me so angry.
But if we're going by elo difference and who's kind of had the most impact when that factors in, you know, going against the bigger, badder teams and stuff like that, Tiny is actually the most impressive hero this patch. 128 times played, but an elo shift of 1119 for anyone out there who actually knows what that is. Huge
So you're
impact.
saying Tiny is good at one-shotting people and being like, wow, I just got one shot. And not anticipating.
This is a hero, typically him, and of course the Wisp, third on this elo. It's like this is what teams pull out when they need a big win against a big team. And then you see Gyro not on this list at all.
Yeah, Gyro is sometimes very good. A few teams have really high win rates with him, Alliance and we mainly, but a lot of other teams are like, look, I just want to have a carry that doesn't have to worry too bad about being pressured by high HP dual offlane heroes like Undying or some crap like that. They just don't have to deal with that. They don't want to have that option presented, and they want the range so they don't be punished by the Darkseer, and it just puts you in the box where you're like, well, I guess I'll grab the 46% because my laning stage goes good. That's all I'm aiming to do. Hopefully that it works out.
Plus, it's a comfort.
Yeah, it's been in the years now or something.
The second they did that rocket barrage change, people were like, all right, it's Gyro time. And then even before that, you know, the classic Havost and silent gyrocopters from the day.
You know what's crazy about that was that rocket barrage was still really good back then. It's just people were like, you know what, I only need rocket barrage, and I'm going stats, because they were all about flat cannon. They're like, flat, the best thing I've ever seen. Now people are still like, yeah, flat cannon's still good, but we don't like rush flat cannon and like get stats and like just worry about our right click. It's like, oh, you actually have good magic. Yeah, you had to stop to shoot it. That was a little downside, but you know, I think Gyro has been very strong.
I remember people also were trying to get him to be all about the mangoes too when they first came. Barrage, mango up, the rocket barrage, and then
back when you used to have like 400 mana, you could rocket barrage like 5 times that low or something like that.
It was ridiculous.
Gyro, yeah, I've lost to that. That was annoying.
He still roams a bit. He's still quite of a fighter hero. As I said, I wouldn't be surprised to put it past, you know, once he starts haul down. I want this thing to use. Do you think that's how it has to be here for Newbee? They're going to look to peak before this draft really come online?
I think that's the idea, yeah. Get like an Aquila and a Treads or something, shift them to the offlane when like a 6 or something, just get kills and take. Teams do that. Maybe LGD, CDE. And I don't think it's a bad idea. The only downside with that is that it would allow Spirit Breaker to base and pick up a level 6, which is really where the gank comes online for VP. So I now just keep the Spirit Breaker zone until he hits 6, and after which point you go do some. But occasional jumping to other lanes and getting ganks off is going to.
I mean, Lil's was at least true to his word. This is a through and through more of a Virtus.Pro lineup, something we would have seen them pull out, you know, during TI to get a win together, and seeing heroes like Broodmother like completely ignored. I'm curious if it's something they try to creep in like for game 2, let's say.
Well, she did get nerfed recently.
That's true.
Spiders 12% to 8%. That so one of the most annoying things easily is the broodlings harassing your support, so you have to worry about AoE heroes and all this. Sometimes your carry has to stop farming to shift over to make sure you don't die. So if you reduce brood slow, I could see that being something that really makes moderate amount weaker. And a lot of teams have been picking him lately, but it hasn't been like super. Fingers crossed, no leg.
Yeah. Let's give it another go here. Looks like we have a reconnection from Virtus.Pro size, and we're gonna get underway here. Mid lane though is where we could potentially see some action here. It looks like FNG continues to linger around, but still only level 1. Does have that chilling touch, which could still make a big impact if G wanted to pull the trigger on anything, but it looks like FNG has business elsewhere too.
He just shifted over to drop a check for some rewards.
Oh, the lag is still there. Seeing it. We're treadmilling here, boys.
I'm fine.
You're fine. I'm barely fine. Bottom lane, it looks like they do a poison touch on a DK Phobo. Will be walking away. Yeah, it looks like I'm the only guy who has the unfortunate lag.
That's fine.
Everything will be fine.
Just shift off your PC. Cast off this seconds delayed, no problem, man.
Yeah, I'll reconnect if necessary. Luckily, we have our handsome observer here joining us. We have to, of course, give a shout out to Wepus here. He's going to be doing the ops for us on stream number 2. Makes my life a lot easier.
Hopefully he has no lag at least.
Yeah, I'm
Clockwork sitting level 3.5 at the moment. Side Spirit Breaker just picking up 3 and the wave is pushing. So both off lanes pretty similar. And threats, I think the Clockwork's maybe a little scarier. Kill on Wind Ranger is definitely possible in the mid. Breathe Fire and a double combo with a stun. That's enough lockdown where even casting Wind Run is not going to.
Connecting, sorry. Happening here. Back into the game.
So that's going to be Spirit Breaker at 3.5 here. Almost got his boots. Ooh, the charge for the Catapult. Sick move. Gank mid. Power shot coming through as well. G's getting kind of low. A little bit of chilling touch damage. Actually, just bug pretty low. Ooh, FNG maybe in trouble. Double damage. There's the stun coming through on Wind Ranger as well. To breathe fire. It's gonna be kind of close. You know, if he actually would have breathed fire, he would have gotten that kill. I really don't think he was expecting that though. The chilling touch came through and just hit so hard.
Don't mind me, I'm just
Not
apparently in offline mode, so I'm going to restart my whole Dota.
Okay, I'm going to solo cast this, no
Don't
problem.
be afraid to go ham.
Okay, ham. A lot of observer wards protecting the safe lane. This is really smart by Lil, because if you have a really weak carry like this, somebody that's very easy to gank, it's important spot where the Night Stalkers come in, things in this position, spot anybody teleporting the lane and shifting over. Won't spotting rotations from the mid lane though, so that's going to be a little dangerous. One observer ward to protect the safe lane, one to protect the mid lane. Decent warding. Wards might get ganked while they're pulling. Moment Lil picking up level 4, he's doing pretty good.
I'm back, baby. Sorry about that. Here we go. Bottom lane, just in time. Charge gonna get canceled. Banana. Preemptive shallow grave here, but it looks like they're gonna be able to wait it out, and the dazzle will go down. VP are gonna be pull ahead. 2-0, and Chipbug's looking to get on the action. Early void, but it's a G Dragon Knight. They're gonna need the assistance from Moo here, looking for the shackle. Wow, it connects. So G's gonna be locked down. Raj, Howl looking to go on to move here, and they're gonna take G down. Now this 4-man hit squad committing in. Call down gonna be dropped. Phobo hit by 1, and the rocket barrage is gonna bring him down, but Moo gets the power shot to clean it up.
I didn't think they were going to get there in time, but they barely got those kills. Great shackle from the low ground. Solid pickups. I was really amazed how hard Dragon Knight hit though. It looked like he had a double damage. He didn't. He was just range mode. He had plus 29 damage from Drow Ranger. He hits really hard at this point.
Nice synergy there. With that, Ilden in the meantime getting some early damage onto this tier 1, but that is Newbee committing in for a fight, coming out victory there, and How's debut call down. Be a big one for him. So now he's got the Aquila, and he's going to be farming up. Look at these stacks that they were able to throw together. And the Night Stalker didn't have much going on early on, but he made this happen right now, and this is a wealth of gold swinging the way for Mr. Howe.
Yep. He picked up a Clarity Potion as well, because he knows he's about to burn through all of his mana pool. So these creeps, this is going to jump up the Night Stalker a level or so, and Howe's going to get a lot of gold. So despite his early rotation, oh man, I just love watching this.
Boom. Drop
still going to be ahead, basically.
Yeah. Money. All the meanwhile, they are trying to push these lanes a bit. G has popped his dragon form here and is trying to get some early damage on this tier 1. Moo was forced to dish out the shack shot. Forced back, but it's Phobos. Vulture here. Knocking around for possibly future prey, but minute rune after all. Maybe they can use this in a way to kind of get the jump on the Moo if possible.
To the top rune, we'll see what he gets. Anything good? Regen. Okay. Sure, he would have loved a haste or a DD there. Could get a bit more kills with that, but still playing passive. Lil's almost got 6 here. Illidan is shifting in the jungle. Really nice to do. If you are playing, he doesn't need that much lifesteal really to get away with this. Just needs to stay in range. He's just going to sit here and AFK farm. So it's going to be higher leveled on VP, and then they're going to be able to do something with.
Yeah, now they have FNG who's able to just kind of hide and just get some solo XP, get that level 6, have Ice Blast ready to go. Frantic pings there. I think they know what's happening. Banana goes in and I'm going to go for the TP. And of course, without Poison Touch, stop him. FNG will be safe.
He's pretty underleveled though. I mean, it's great that Lil's hitting a fast level. See that Ice Blast as well.
Yeah. So do you shift him to the safe lane? It looks like he's going to be going back to the off lane here, hoping that the lane
might see
pushes
clock
up.
die.
There they go, commitment in. He's going to be bumped out of his own cogs, but they got the
Nice.
stun from the familiar and the soul assumption. Lil's going to pick up that one and push Virtus.Pro ahead now 3-2.
Very nicely done. Popped his ultimate, immediately Grave Chill, and all he needed was a little bit of a charge stun and they got a kill. Pretty solid there. Strong are making a Vlad's or something?
And
What
I
else does he
am
make this
lagging
ring of
again.
regen for? I think he's going to be making a fast Vlads on Draw Ranger, like really pumping up for his team. 10% lifesteal, it's not amazing, but it's okay. Good familiar placement here to block hook shots, things like that. Not that we have a level 6 clock yet.
But it has something to fear. He's been stuck. LA has been in a very defensive position to level up Rocket. But look at Phobos here near the rune pick and be caught out between 3, and Spirit Breaker will go down. Wrong place at the wrong time for him. And now they're back. Attention to top lane here. Hookshot gonna go in. They are gonna be able to get the tower down, but could cost Illidan's life here. Gush back looking to go for a Valiant
stun.
TP. Not gonna be happening.
Did he cancel? Oh, his battery's fault. Okay.
Battery Salt gonna pop it off, and looks like Illidan good going down.
He almost made that too. The battery cell was hitting all creeps there. Very close.
RNG unfortunately not fully in the favor.
They got 2 towers just now. Pretty good. Tower destroyed by Dire, and the other one was killed by G, I believe. So, gold advantage is now going to go to VP. They're going to have all these auras and things. Aquila for now on draw, but I'm pretty sure he will be making a Vlad's gank.
Cancel with the shackle there, and move able to sidestep away from incoming trouble. This up nearby, Chizbug. Venture plants down the ward. It doesn't. Oh nope, Lil did spot it. They ping right on top of it here. Be able to get rid of that assertive vision.
And now FNG is allowed to catch up basically. With Lil hitting 6, he can basically jungle. Draw Ranger can jungle, and now A picking up 6 on the bot lane. Nobody here basically, and this is a good place for him to go. He basically said, you know what, I can't really get pulling. I could do some stacks and stuff, but in reality, it's not that good. Easy for his team to kill stacks. It's basically Dragonite level 2 ult and Breathe Fire, and that's what it is. So he just went for the play. Just has to worry about dying and getting up 6, and then organizing ganks with his breaker, and then they're all good.
For Moo on this win, what is the new typical up? It's just not a Moo hero I've seen a lot as of recent here, but is it more or less the same? We're going to push for getting Ags right away and then building the damage thereafter.
Most likely, yeah. I mean, a lot of VP's early damage is buying the Ags also increases his raw HP a lot. So I think Ags is definitely the go-to item. Might be Maelstrom game over Daedalus even, because there is some pretty high armor coming out of VP and a second damage source good against Visage. Something Maelstrom Eggs might be alright this game versus Daedalus. That might be a possibility, but I think Def the Ags, he's going to pick up the point booster here mostly. You just need the raw HP on Wind Ranger. Like, yeah you can go evasive. The Magic Burst will still kill you through that, and this is the build that really made Wind Ranger able to be picked again.
Speaking of more itemization, I think about a bit earlier though, G, now sporting 2200 gold here. You will eat a bit of a void as Nightfall will come down. Is it... Oh, hook shot, gonna connect too late. Beautiful right there. FNG's there, but he can't do much about it. Lil to rotate in, but it might be too late. Look at the zoning call out from How, and they're gonna finish what they started. They clean their plate as G will be going down, and looks like they're gonna transition this mid lane push.
Yeah, there's really not a lot they could do. A little bit early there. Worst part is that FNG actually not 6 yet. With this creep dying, he's gonna get it. He gets it barely without Nightstalker finding him. Nightstalker's gonna spot him out though. They can defend.
He's got to step back. He wants to go to Ice Blast. Looks like he's going to connect regardless on the Moo. Charge on 4. He's got the Grave, but it might go down nonetheless. How they're looking to engage. They're going to get Illidan down. Rocks of the Cogs. Now Lil looking to fly through the trees to make it away, but Tule is there on the other side. There's a rocket, and he will be able to make it out. They can't fully commit. They are going to go for the bird instead and gain that 100 gold for it. Step back and be able to finish out the tower. This is still a big surplus going the way of Newbee.
I think it was pretty well played by VP. Lil made a sick play there. He flew the bats in, did the initial stuns, and then he resummoned. He basically got like a triple bat stun. This guy has over 1,000 pub playing Visage.
It's disgusting.
Like, he basically had a really good play. They got the win run the Grave with the Ice Blast, and they almost defended, but they did still lose their carry. What the hell is Drow building? Is she building a Force Staff? It's a Force Staff on
That's
Drow
a
Ranger.
Force Staff. I mean, it's not far-fetched. Drow go for a Blink Dagger, and I guess in a game when you're against a Clockwork and you have to get some sort of mobility tool between the two, I guess Force
Somebody
Staff.
has to get it. If he
Somebody
just has this, and he sits in the back of the fight, anybody gets hookshotted, Clockwork's countered. And there was a big period where Clockwork just wasn't picked. So while this really hurts Illidan's farm level, nobody's going to die to Clock unless there's follow-up. So it's going to hopefully give them a lot more teamfight stability, as weird as this is.
I mean, the other 4-step candidates typically are Ancient Apparition, but maybe they feel like the time he's able to get it, or they want to put more priority for whatever reason into getting him a Midas/Agnums.
Yeah, basically, like, if you wait on one of your support, yeah, it's your support getting it, that's better, but so later that Clockwork's able to get a lot done.
Yeah. Well, they don't want to be caught out and too late. Already been doing a lot of work, at least the last 2 skirmishes. Any sort of like that will be here. And speaking of mobility tools, Dragon Knight gets one of his own. He goes for the early commitment Blink Dagger. I suspect he should be going for the BKB after. Very good against the lineup of newbies. Lots of magic damage.
You can just get away with this basically because he already has lots of damage from Drow, so he's just going to be able to initiate somebody, and their low damage hopefully won't kill him through this. He's got a lot of HP, sitting about 1400 at this point. Newbee, they didn't know where they were. VP didn't know where Newbee was, that is, so they all sat together. Now they can see their movement to the bot lane. It's kind of point. They can defend tier 2 if they continue pushing, but I don't think Newbee will do this, so for now they should just AFK jungle.
Wards are amazing here from Newbee. They were able to get a very deep vision ward behind even the tier 2. Get a bit more comfortable to see better read on the situation if they're going to be able to take a team fight or not. They clear out that tier 1 and they see everyone rotate in, and they're just going to immediately go somewhere else. All Virtus.Pro are going to commit to the bottom, and then we'll get the most of the map elsewhere. And oh man, look at this girthy stack. How is going to be farming up right now? Yummy.
Going to finish his SNY, I believe. It's really good they did de-ward that hill though, because they basically used the smoke to look for VP. VP was forced to back, and then they can place a lot of good observer wards. Even if they didn't get a gank out of it, positioning was so good. Now, this is the pro scene, man. VP is so good, they're like, alright, they're going to place all the obvious wards. Boom, they get a double observer de-ward. That is so huge. That basically means once the ward dies out here on the mid lane, 2 minutes later, there are no observer wards on the map for Newbee. That's going to be a huge issue, because they got daytime in 4 minutes here, and they smoke. They're going for the fight.
Oh, but Moo's in biz. Once smoke pops, they got gonna drop it, and Moo is just battered, beaten down, and with that, a beautiful segue. They're gonna go right into the Roche pit and claim the token.
Really big pickup for them. They're going to be really happy with it. Lil sitting at 3-0-1 right now. I noticed a lot of the little games where he played Visage, the games that they won are the KDAs, and it's like that'll be the case this game.
3-0, yeah.
Ooh, he coming down, trying to get a solo kill on Banana. It's going to work. I think Ice Blast coming in.
Yeah, he's done for. Beautifully set up right there. Good sense to put the Ice Blast way further ahead. DK Bo's ball back. But look at this, jumping from too late. He's trying to intercept what the hell's happening here, but he's going to get caught out. Frozen up, solidified now. Call down from How. He's charging his way in. Wants to claim the Roche. Oh, a beautiful grab from Newbee, and already Virtus have to get the hell out of there through the back door.
Man.
What an interception from Newbee.
It looks so good for them too. The Clockwork hooked onto the familiars of Lil, so they didn't get the proper initiation, but that's just the issue, man. When somebody gets in melee range against a Drow Ranger with a 4-staff, like, dude, like, he could have forced himself to the high ground maybe, but he had damage. If he had a damage item, maybe he could have killed one of them, but you just can't do anything to stop the Night Stalker and the Gyro from running in. Like, they're just so much more threatening at this point.
Very, very rough.
And the Spirit Breaker was off charging the Dazzle, so he wasn't there to defend the Drow Ranger. Like, yeah, they got that they got the Dazzle kill, but they really didn't think Newbee was going to go for that one, and I didn't either, honestly. I thought they were like, okay, we lost a hero, it was an important hero, there's no way we defend this. But they actually went for it, and they got the Roche. That was a sick play from Newbee, basically.
Yeah, plus, you know, they were able to get the Dazzle, but he'd already done his job. He dropped down that weave just beforehand, and I would imagine by the time the fight broke out, it was on the back end of that weave. They were going to be at their weakest, Virtus.Pro was, so
yeah.
Very good stuff there, nicely timed by them, and they're going to be walking away the victor. That front, 8-7, but how? 9,200 net worth, nearly 2K above where DK is. That is a full item, and right now he's going to be able to head to this top lane. They're leading him out in the front for now, while the rest of Newbee behind. And for Virtus.Pro, they're on the opposite side of the world, looking to add some pressure to that bottom lane. But take this fast enough, they could even head to that bottom lane and defend.
I think they're going to be able to, definitely. But VP's got their ultimates ready to go. Ace sitting at level 8 now. Bit of stats with him. Still just a 4-staff on Drow Ranger, but he does have marksmanship level 1. Talking about a lot of range damage. 42 here for Visage, and his bats when the aura is activated, though. Pretty good. And G's opted for a drum, so he's going to be very strong in the mid game. Still kind of feel like he needs a BKB.
Oh, for sure.
But just kind of get locked down in a fight. Once he does grab BKB, though, he's going to be really threatening.
Moo had stepped off for a 4-staff himself after getting that reliable point booster. It looks like after this he will be finishing out the Ags, but getting the force now, and oh, he's going to get caught out. G's going to jump in, get the Dragon Tail off, but he sees Chizbug, and they decide to turn around and 180 themselves out from this fight. Shackle not going to latch right there. G's going to be able to be fine, but look at the catch right now. Too late. Beautiful on the Illidan, but he puts that 4-staff to use. We'll sidestep it away. They're going to get early grave on the Tule, which it looks like will be able to help him here. Needs to get the heal off, but no, it's not going to matter. He's dropped G. This one will shackle into a lone little tree. Phobos committing on in. Bump onto Banana. He eats a Void. And now comes the rest of Virtus.Pro looking to sweep out Newbee from their jungle, but they're keeping the fight spread. A commitment on through as they're going to be able to go for the bump and get the finishing blow onto Moo. From Newbee going to be going down. Virtus.Pro lose no one.
Their heroes are really good right now. Like, Shackle was scary and all, but once the hookshot was over, there was really nothing stopping VP chasing them down eventually. Blink Dagger and a drum on Dragonite, that's so much attack speed advantage for your whole team, plus you have that damage aura. Like, for that reason alone, I actually really like the drum pickup. You think about all this plus damage you get from the Drow aura, well, if you combo that with an attack speed aura on everybody else, like, you just have massive DPS advantage over your opponent. Much what happened in that fight. They couldn't stop him from running at him. They land the Ice Blast on the guy that's low. There's nothing Newbee can do to stop it unless they kill them before their opponents kill them, and they can't do that with the drum aura and the...
But are we still nervous now for Virtus.Pro? You're looking at a Drow Visage lineup purge, and Drow is 4th on net worth here, even behind Moo's Wind Ranger. And this is hopefully the point when she's starting to build up to be a powerhouse hitter and starting to push towards those tier 2s. And after having to come to a 4-staff and does sport nearly 1,600 gold, I feel like her peaking time is going to be a bit later than you would like on a Drow Visage.
Kind of agree, but marksmanship and precision just give her so much for damage, you know? Like, the force is expensive, kind of, but it's only 2,000 gold, and if you think about it as an investment, just staying alive and pay you like at least 250 gold every time that you stay alive, and every kill that happens afterwards is be paid off pretty fast just by not dying. So I kind of like it. We'll see how it transitions in late game and what items he gets, but he's going to at least need a fast MKB, I think.
Newbee looking to push a fight right now. Howard just completed his BK, and they still have some time on this Aegis to use here. But look at Virtus.Pro, a cheeky play, looking to flank it from behind. Better get the catch here. Illidan catches out Moo. Nice catch, Gus. 3! Beautifully done. They get the push on the Moo. They bump him right back to the low ground, and he's going to get finished off. But How able to isolate Lil, takes him down. The birds are going to be fine and live on as they stun on through. And now How can't get the rocket barrage. G is just on the run here. Meanwhile, look at Tule caught out from the birds. This is going to get graved up and saved. They're going to continue their chase. Meanwhile, FNG poisoned up, going to get chunked down there from Chizbug, and he's going to continue his catch. Looks like the rest of Virtus.Pro making their move onto Banana. Then is just trying to draw their attention away. Chezbug's still caught in the middle of the fight, gonna get stunned up. Illidan goes back in. They're looking for How now. As they change course, they're looking to get the big meaty prize here in the gyrocopter, and he has no Aegis, so he goes down for good. Now Chezbug gets caught out next. G very low, and he's gonna get burnt down. Illidan gonna get a double kill at the end of that one, as Virtus.Pro putting well in ahead.
I heard somebody yelling, and I would not be surprised if that was VP, because that fight looked really close. Like, and Gyro just seemed invulnerable. He's just chasing people around. They're like, you know, we can't really kill Gyro. We can deal with some other heroes maybe. And just, man, they killed that Wind Ranger so fast. And if that didn't happen right at the start of the fight, VP easily wins that one. It just, they had a great team fight there, and they whittled them down, and they made it work.
I mean, the way they orchestrated that fight to be able to intercept from behind, timing that worked out is just beautifully played there from Virtus.Pro. It gets them right back on the map at this game.
Yeah. I believe that Dry Ranger was the one leading that, actually. That was crazy to me. I'm like, you have a 4-staff, that doesn't make you invulnerable, you know? Like, if he got shackled or something, boom, they lose the fight. He would have just died right.
Such a beautiful gust right at the beginning, too.
It was
caught
good.
3.
Yeah, and it stopped Wind Ranger doing anything. Yeah, she used Wind Run, but after all the stuns came through, Wind Run goes away, she dies.
Yeah.
Dead hero.
Makes it a bit rough here. I mean, you're looking at Newbee now, and their backstaff, their support crew is still trying to play a little bit of catch-up here. We see Chezbug, who does have his point boost here, but nothing much thereafter. And Dazzle, of course, just a mere medallion at this point. Need a little bit more here. I mean, I said the stat at the start, Purge. How is one to take most of the farm on his team, and We're seeing it just, you know, Exhibit A.
It's basically because his team stacked for him heavily and he's not dying. So, like, half of that, you know, I wouldn't say that he's being greedy or anything like that. He's showing up to fights. He's getting a lot of stacks. That's his team arm, but not dying is him being awesome and playing well. Like, he's only died once now. I think he played that last fight well. I don't know. I think they just need to win their team fights. It's all going to come down to initiations, basically. If they can land a good shackle, they easily win the fight. A little scary, you know. Drow's got a Yasha. She's got a Ogre Club. They use another smoke coming from VP here. They've got one left in their store. So it seems like they're smoking a lot, but I think they're responsibly. They didn't use any early. Now they're using them in the game where they have most strength. They need to keep good initiations, winning team fights. Gonna run away with this soon.
Yeah, I think Newbee have the idea that something's a bit fishy here. They just launched out a rocket all the way into the Virtus.Pro woods, and they're gonna see anything but look at a beautiful catch on the Howl. Early grade, but yeah, he will meet his demise here. Ice Blast gonna connect. He does go down, and what a catch! Phobos, the Nether Strike, gonna pull back in Dazzle. They get a 2-for here, and they're gonna try to push down this top lane and go for the tier 2.
What a perfect fight. That was exactly what VP. They get the carry and a +1 for that. That's absolutely worth it. Gold on everybody, more experience. Tier 2 towers dead as well.
Oh my god, that went down so fast.
Yeah, that's the aura, man. It's insane.
Virtus.Pro feeling pretty good here, back as a demolition crew here. Now they're going to look to ascend to the high ground. How is out 25 seconds? They love to at least get that buyback out if possible, but the timer's so low and doesn't matter. There's the buyback, and immediately Virtus.Pro turn and run.
That's 800 gold. That's like killing Gyro 3 times or something like that, that they just forced out of him. Really big advantage. They've got to be so happy with that, man. What a great gank. That goes as best as it could. They've got a Vlad's on the SB as well, so now they basically have 3 auras. Drum aura, Vlad's aura, Drow aura.
Yep.
All of them have lifesteal, and that's going to be useful.
G's about to have his BKB here just a moment, so...
Yeah, that's... He's going to initiate. He'll blink, and he's going to have almost 2k HP. It's going to stun, like, Gyro or Wind Ranger, and then they're just going to kill him.
And Lil is even pretty damn rich here. Finished out his Solar Crest, and he has a freaking Ogre Club in his...
Very good item for him as well. Again, the damage on Newbee is a little weak, so throw that Solar Crest on the Wind Ranger when she's trying to attack somebody. She's going to miss 30% of the time. He doesn't yet have his eggs. He's got eggs 4 staff, so his damage is good, not amazing. Newbee's damage is really not there this game. Gone a little... You grab a Night Stalker and a Dazzle, your damage, unless your Night Stalker does really well and gets ahead, your damage is just not there at all from your supports. So you're relying entirely on your cores. And then you also have a Gyro, or I'm sorry, a Clockwork. That damage heavy. So I feel like they kind of drafted them here with their cores, board setups. There's another smoke. I love how they're using their smoke. This is great.
Another big fight here, and we could see quickly another tier 2 going down, and you have someone like Night Stalker on your team who's looking to build ag, so you have map control, but there's not going to be much map left here for Newbee to control at this rate.
They didn't spot any.
Very nervous at this point, all huddled together here behind the tier 2 bottom lane. No, something is up.
They drew that they were going for Roshan. On Rocket's going to scout it out.
Gotta wait it out. Fire here. They can wait one moment.
Alright, it's up. It's a Radiant Ping. I don't know if VP realizes that's not there yet. Could have respawned a little bit later, so...
From Newbee's perspective, you're like, I don't see Virtus.Pro anywhere here. They're not showing up in any lane. We just rocketed that pit. They gotta be still smoked somewhere, right? Wait out long enough, and look at this. They're gonna be ones to smoke now, and they're gonna head to the Roche pit.
VP's reading so good. They basically see that Roche is there with the bat, so they know, look at this. The illusion with the Solar Crest. So the Solar Crest is on it, so that makes them really think that it's the right one. Oh, it's gonna die right now though. They didn't fall for it. Oh, they did shackle. Alright, they know they're there now.
Oh, and they weaved in the pit. There's gonna be no weave for this to break out.
That's a really sick trap. But they didn't completely fall for it. They just did a little bit. That was VP's great read. Roche is up. They're gonna smoke now. They're gonna try to kill us.
As they feel with the weave being off, and now they're gonna use this little illusion to try to scout out. They'll see all of Newbee up on this high ground here. Virtus.Pro kind of second guessing if they want to commit into the pit itself or spread around here.
Yeah, they gotta wait for darkness to go away. It's so dangerous to fight at nighttime.
This is so much time though that Newbee have not been doing anything for the past like 2-3 minutes. It felt like before that they were huddled at tier 2. Then they move up with the smoke and just kind of stay in the Roche pit, and no one's farming, no one's getting kills, and eventually they're like, we gotta do something.
I mean, neither team did anything really, but they have these illusions and they have an invisible spear prick and a positioning, and they do so much damage to Roche, but right now, they're looking for the initiation. Bat's trying to block the hook.
KB early committed here. Illidan wants to get the finish onto this Roche while the rest of his team looks to go in. They just shove Moo back to the Cogs. He gets his own force to make it back and away, and he's had a good choke. Illidan, meanwhile, going to be finishing off the Roche, gets the Aegis up. Schmook going to be saved out with the Grave here, but a good push back. Illidan looking to fight. Might have to use his early life commitment here as Hao is going to catch him out.
Oh, great
nice force. Get him away from the Rocket Barrage, but he's going to be put into a corner here. G shows up, gets the help with the Dragon Tail. Illidan's going to come for the second life. They're going to turn it right back onto Hao. Force save comes out, but oh, look at that beautiful bump back from Tule with the Cogs, and Hao looks like he might be able to make it away from trouble. Good sacrifice coming out from Newbee to help the core out, but oh, they're taking him out. Beautiful catch right there. Banana gonna get dropped. Lil with a killing spree now, and
Blink in 3.
Moo.
Will they find him?
They got him.
Oh, he does.
Blink in, Dragon Tail, and it looks like Moo is gonna be going down.
Yo, they've got to be so excited right now. Look at the items on Drow now. They look normal. You're like, oh, it's just a casual 4-step. So strong now. Yasha with BKB. I think his BKB pop there was great. They just didn't want what happened before to happen. They went in another fight. They've got beats on their cores. Their supports do tons of damage. They have huge kill potential with Ice Blast. Like, so hard for Newbee to stop this push forward from VP. The Dazzle's useless this game because of Ice Blast. And the other support doesn't do much other than vision. Like, the VP lineup is just way better rounded.
This is the Virtus.Pro we've been waiting to see for a while now, and this might be the final hurrah for Newbee if it doesn't go so well. Too late commits on in for Lil. Ice Blast will connect and go right through Hao here, even with the BKB up. He's eating way too much damage. It's going to be going. No buyback. 70 seconds. It looks like Virtus.Pro have just gotten their first victory here in game number 1.
Man, they've got to feel so good about this. Their rating coming into the tournament was not the best, but boom, right off to a fast start, getting a win against Newbee. Not too weird of a draft by them. It's pretty straightforward if you know anything about VP. You know Lil likes Visage. He's really good at Visage. And they have centered the game, honestly, around that pick. They're like, oh, we have a Visage. Grab a Drow Ranger. Grab a good hero for G that he can play really well mid. And then fill out the rest of our lineup so it's fairly balanced. And they grabbed the heroes. They bought 6 mangoes.
Classic Lil.
Again, putting out a great performance on Visage.